Thanks for staying with us. And Bill O'Reilly in the Factor follow-up segment tonight. The movie Noah. It's a big hit, grossing $44 million over the weekend, but it's also very controversial. Our pal Glenn Beck called the movie dangerous disinformation. But its star Russell Crowe says baloney.
We've had probably over a year now of very harsh criticism from a bunch of people who have put their name and stamp on an opinion that's not even based on the movie or seeing the movie, just an assumption of what it could be or how bad it could be or how wrong it could be in their eyes, which I think quite frankly is bordering on absolute stupidity.
And joining us now from Chicago, Sun-Times film critic Richard Roper, and from Washington, Raymond Arroyo, managing editor of the EWTN News Catholic Broadcast Network. Mr. Arroyo, I begin with you. Were you offended by Noah?
I wasn't offended by Noah, but let me tell you, Bill, I interviewed all the stars here, the director, Darren Aronofsky, showed that to my audience. The reaction I've gotten over the last few days from people who've seen it has been nothing short of titanic. They went to see Gladiator in an ark. What they got was Black Swan's daddy in Waterworld. Look, this is a dark depiction of this story, and it deviates from the Bible story or the popular conception of it. And I think that's rattled audiences. The two biggest things I keep hearing, Bill, there are stone giants in this movie, big transformer-like, they look like they're out of Lord of the Rings casting. They help Noah build the ark and lay waste to everybody trying to get on the ark except for Noah and his family.
So the giant monster people are protecting him. All right, well, I don't know if that's in the Bible. I didn't see that there, Richard, but maybe I've forgotten it. But look, when people go to the movies, they have to expect that the movie's going to be entertainment, and there'll be giant concrete people there, I guess. I mean, I don't know. What do you say?
Well, Bill, here's the thing. Those giant monsters are actually angels that have fallen to earth, and God has punished them because they got mixed up in things they shouldn't have done. Now, is this something that we see a lot of in the book of Genesis? No. But as we're saying here, this is a big budget entertainment, and it's got to have a lot of factors. If you're just going to show Noah as this kindly old 550-year-old man who leads all the animals onto the ark and then it rains for 40 days, well, that's a 10-minute cartoon, and that's been done before. To get audiences to see this story, which I do agree, it of course deviates from the text. So does almost every single fictional Hollywood movie ever made that's been based on anything.
The problem is that they're using the ark and the religious connotation to sell the film. Yeah. So they're some people like Glenn Beck are going to be annoyed by it. They're going to go, listen, you're taking it. They didn't have to, Richard named it Noah. They could have named it Sydney. All right, and just had a movie about a guy, and just it didn't have to be Noah, because if you go on Noah,
Bill, this is on the other side of the maybe. Okay, so maybe on the other side of the globe there was Jimmy in a big canoe. Is that the movie you wanted to see?
But if you're going to do John the Baptist, and then you got John living in Greenwich Village, I mean, people are going to get upset. There's a literalism to the Bible.
This is the big problem, Bill and Richard. Look, people were willing, I think, to give it a chance. But once in the theater, when you've got the entire arc of the story, once they're on the ark, no pun intended, Noah's mission, he believes God is moving him to wipe out his grandchildren. He's got a knife in hand trying to take out the grandkids. This is a very dark conception of this story.
But Richard, look. It wasn't a really a touchy-feely story to begin with. It was a vengeful God in the Old Testament saying, look, I created the world, and you people are spitting in my face, so I'm going to wipe you all out and start again. I mean, that's not happy days, Raymond.
But Noah wasn't running around chasing the kids and the animals, Bill. Wow. I mean, it rattles audiences. And look, I don't have a problem with artistic innovation. Mel Gibson did it in The Passion, but he stayed true to the basic material. And that's what's happening here. It is so at odds with the basic material. Audiences, I think, look at the cinema score ratings. A C, Bill. That's less than RoboCop.
Yeah, because it's so divided, though. It's so divided. Richard, you thought it was a very good movie, right?
Yeah, Bill, I'm showing my Christian side by letting Raymond talk, even though you said Richard at the beginning of that question. See, we have to give. We have to be generous of spirit. And you made some very good points. Bill, you made some very good points about the Old Testament. A lot of stories there, if you take them literally, we're talking about a God who is testing man and asking someone to sacrifice his son. In the case of Noah, one must assume if he was told to bring just his family and the animals on the ark, that he's shutting out humanity. Now, Darren Aronofsky then went with that and did turn it into kind of a gladiator story. But it is about a man who believes that God is telling him something and wants to obey God's orders, and ultimately does the fair and just and Christian thing.
All right, gentlemen. We'll let everybody decide whether they want to see Noah or not. And we really appreciate the lively discussion. Thank you. Water's World.